Okay, let's get rolling here. I don't want to waste too much, I don't want to abuse your guys' time. So we've got several people, and looks like people from all over the country. So cool. Okay, so I'm Bradley Thomas, and I am a life coach, and I help people find their purpose so they can get clarity and direction in their life. And here's the quick and dirty about me and why I'm actually doing this and why I chose this new profession. See, I was a systems administrator for 13 years. And in that position, I didn't feel, after a certain amount of time, I didn't feel like I was giving back or doing anything purposeful in my life or really helping people the way I wanted. And I don't know, I guess it's a good thing. But I got this from my mother. She just takes care of people to the nth degree, to almost to a point where, it hurts her. So I got a lot of that from my mother. And after a lot of discovery and actually talking to a life coach and having one really powerful, deep conversation with her, she pulled out of me and she said, Brad, you are just pulling your confidence from a big paycheck, and you're not pulling it from within yourself. And, it took a little while for that really to sink in, but it started to sink in a lot. And I was like, this isn't what I want to do for the rest of my life. And at that point, I had bought my dream house. I had the BMW. I had all the clothes and the nice car, all the stuff that you're supposed to have to say that you've made it. And it wasn't making me happy. So that started my discovery process of like, what in the heck am I supposed to actually be doing? So that started the process. And within a few weeks, I was like, you know what, I'm going to quit my job responsibly and go after the passion that I thought at the time I was going to do. And that was photography. So I put a little plan in place, and I was like, I'm going to save up a little bit more money, and I'm going to kind of do my thing. And then in 3 months, I'm going to quit. Like I put a deadline, like I'm going to quit. This is it. I'm going for it. And within 2 weeks, after I had set that deadline, I was walking my dog on June 21st. She's actually in the background right now. I don't think she can see her. She's sleeping. But anyway, I was walking her, and I was like, how can I make this happen faster? And I just had a thought in my head, and I was like, well, maybe if I get fired or laid off. And I went into work that day, and that's exactly what happened. My boss laid me off, and I was almost grinning ear to ear in excitement and being scared at the same time, because I just had that thought. It was just really weird. And I stopped him in the middle of the discussion, and I said, this is weird. I just had this thought this morning. I don't know what's going on, but I just want to let you know I'm not like creepy and being weird for smiling while you're laying me off. And so anyways, I left excited and also scared at the same time to start the next chapter in my life. And during that next chapter, I really started to dig deep and find out what my purpose was. And the process that I'm going to walk you guys through today is what I had discovered through lots of research and soul searching of what I came to know, as my purpose. So without further, let's get started. A couple other people chimed in. And so if you just chimed in, I'm Bradley Thomas, life coach, and I help people find their purpose. So we're about ready to start. And if you guys want to write down these questions, and some of them will come up right away and you'll know the answers just right off the bat. Other questions might take you a little bit of time to really think about, but just write down the question. If it doesn't come to you, come back to it. And if it doesn't resonate or you're really not clear, you can always ask a friend or your husband, your wife, your partner, your mother, your father, people that you're close to, because sometimes their perspectives on these questions can help you get more perspective on what your purpose is. All right. So slide one, done. Okay. So what questions, these are the questions, sorry. What did you love doing as a kid? And I'm going to guide you through this through my eyes, because that's the only way I can explain it. So what I loved to do as a kid was helping others. I loved making others laugh. I loved helping my mom run her daycare business. And at one point, I thought I was going to be a priest. And then puberty hit, and that idea went out the window. And as you answer these questions, once you get to the heart of the question or the answer, ask yourself, why did you love doing that? You know, and throughout all of these 7 questions, it's always going to have a why on the end. And the why is the most important part. And it's where we're going to start to see the thread in your life going through it. So does anybody want to chime in and say what they loved doing as a kid?
Yeah, I'll chime in.
Sure. Who's this?
My name is Taryn.
Hey, Taryn.
Hey, yeah, so I got your it was a Adobe formatted questionnaire of all those questions that
yeah
that were on there. So I said that I love to go off and make believe. You know, whether it was in my backyard or in the room. You know, I like to take toys and use my imagination to create scenarios or mimic something I saw on television or something like that.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
I love to play video games. I said that I love to go off and ride my bike in the neighborhood.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. I'm going to grab my pen and paper. I'm going to write some of these down as we're going through them. Grab my handy dandy notebook. If I can get the cap off the pen. So, Taryn, you are now the guinea pig.
Okay.
I hope that's all right.
No, it's fine.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you loved imagination. Let's see, playing with things. And what was one of the other ones?
Going off and riding my bike in my neighborhood.
And okay, so with all of those, why did you love doing those things?
As a kid, I said that, you know, these were the ways that I felt I could escape.
Yeah.
And, you know, going off and riding my bike, it made me feel free.
Okay.
And, you know, when I was playing make-believe, I wanted to pretend I was having the same experiences that I saw on TV that interested me.
Okay.
Mimicking, you know, an actor's, you know, facial expression, or like a scene that I saw, or, you know, a popular TV show.
Cool.
And as a kid was like Global Guts or Nickelodeon. I can't remember the name of the show. I'm drawing a blank, but a lot of you know, game shows at the time. Oh, it's Double Dare.
Oh, Double Dare. Yeah, I guess we're probably similar ages then.
Right. And
I remember the big green slime.
I would mimic, you know, being on those shows, and you know, there's a lot of shows at the time, but I would mimic the situations on those shows as if I was actually on the show.
Cool.
And I like doing.
Okay, awesome. I was just telling Christopher, another guy on the call, that I'm doing my estate sale right now and getting rid of a lot of things. And I just came across a MacGyver DVD set, and that was one of the shows that I loved as a kid. And I used to, I think now that I think of it, I think I mimicked a lot of, not trying to like blow stuff up, but trying to recreate some of the stuff in that show, just because, you know, I like science and I'm a nerd. So, okay, cool. Let's go on to question number 2. So this one's a little deeper, not as fun, but really important. And it's, what do you want to be remembered for? And the reason I put this in here, and the reason that it's important, is because I think a lot of people go through life not thinking that they're ever going to pass away, and that it's never going to come, and we can push everything off. But when we really think about it, it's eventually going to happen. And what do you want to be remembered for? What do you want your life to actually be like? Because if we don't have that I don't want to say be a negative Nancy and have like we have to think about death all the time. But if we don't at least take some time to think about that, it gets pushed off because everything else in life happens. And for me, I lost my father when I was 18, and that helped me realize, you know, a lot of things and how important life is. So for me, I want to be remembered for helping one person at a time. And this is kind of my eulogy in here. Well, let me go back one. This is kind of my eulogy, if you will. I'm sure it's going to change because it's going to be someone else's words. At least I hope. I hope I don't record my own eulogy. That's so weird. Anyway, so yeah, I love sitting down and helping people see, you know, where their own blind spots are, because we get caught up so much in our own heads that if we can see where we're, I don't want to say going wrong or thinking different, not thinking differently, but just caught up in our own thoughts, which can really get us off track sometimes to what sometimes reality is. And that's something I always enjoyed. And part of the way that came out for me was that I just love giving people advice on, you know, what, you know, health and wellness and how to have a positive attitude, and all that kind of ties together. But it wasn't until I sat down and really thought about it that it started to come in there. And why is this important to me? It's important to me because I was stuck in a job and I felt kind of useless. And I really wanted to be remembered for helping others, you know, seek their greatness and feel better about themselves and create a better world overall. So Taryn is, what do you want to be remembered for?
I wrote down, I said a thinking woman and someone who didn't let fear hold them back from having experiences that made, you know, one happy. And my why for that was like, you know, like you said, like the majority of people don't live their lives because of the, you know, they're motivated by fear on a daily basis.
Uh-huh.
So much they become in their growth. And I'm at a point in my life where I realized that, like, I don't want to live like that. Like, I just recently had like kind of a similar experience that you had,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with your job, you know, you getting fired. I quit my job because I just came to a realization why work at a place that you clearly don't even want to be there.
Yeah. Yeah. It just, you don't want to be there. You don't feel like you're helping, you know, it just doesn't, you know, make as much sense. So,
yeah.
And so your why on that was because you don't want to see people hold back. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, not only people, but just it starts with myself, of course. But
Yeah.
like, you know, people as well.
There's someone on the call. I'm gonna mute him real quick. Where'd he go? Hold on. Yeah, someone's on the call and they're talking. Let's see. Anybody else? Oh, looks like they muted. Okay, good. Cool. Okay, so on to slide number 3. So this is a fun question. So I just put $5 million in all of your bank accounts, and you've taken all of the vacations that you wanted. You've paid off all of your debt if you have any. You've helped out your family. You've done all the cool, fun stuff that you want to. And you wake up the next day and you have this $5 million. And in order to keep this money, you have to do what you absolutely love. So for me, I've always wanted to travel around the world, you know, seeking adventures and until my realization of like, I really want to help people. So I incorporated that. So for me, I would travel around the world seeking adventures and helping people at the same time. And my why behind that is I love exploring and helping people improve themselves. So Taryn, you're up again.
Okay.
What's, you know, what would you do after all said and done and you wake up the next morning and like, what in the heck am I going to do?
I would travel as well, starting with the Caribbean and then like to Europe, because I also like to explore as well.
Okay. I'm already seeing a lot of common themes here of exploration in you, you know?
Yeah. It also said traveling, it makes me feel alive and free.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And what's the reason behind that? The why?
Why traveling makes me feel alive and free?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just does. I can't really explain it. It just does.
Okay. There might be something underneath there, but that could be further, you know, coaching or exploration, you know. But that's all part of the process, you know. Figure it out you figure it out along the way, as long as you keep going along the way. All right, question number 4. This one is where I had a big aha moment. So when I was rehabbing, when I moved back to St. Louis to rehab my mother's house a little over a year ago, she was trying to help me do something in the basement. My mother's 70 years old, but she's still moving and grooving and doing her thing. But she didn't want to try something that was really simple. I wasn't having her try, you know, I wasn't having her hanging drywall, you know, on the ceiling or anything crazy like that. It was something super simple, but she was scared to do it, and it kind of ticked me off and kind of pissed me off. I wasn't mad at her, but I was mad that she didn't want to at least try to do something and to expand and grow. Now I didn't judge her for that, but it just kind of like, why don't you want to do that? What, you know, and it was a driver for me. And in that moment, I realized, wow, this is something that's come up for me a lot. It's like, I'm always trying to help people improve themselves. I'm always trying to do this. And that kind of irks me when people don't do or don't try to expand themselves. I don't get mad at the person, but it's something that just keeps coming up for me. And it's because, you know, the why behind that is because I believe people have a lot more potential than they actually realize. It just takes a lot of effort and a lot of failure to get to your goals. But that's just part of the process. So, and some people, you know, the word, you know, ticks off or pisses off doesn't work as well. But for some people, you know, things that make them cry or really upset is another, you know, same type of driver. So, Taryn, what's your thing that kind of ticks you off?
Okay, well, I had a few.
Okay, I think we all do.
So I said, and this has been sort of like an issue with me. Like I said, I hate it when I arrive at a point where I seemingly know what I want, but I end up being burned out, or I feel like wait a minute, like I haven't been doing. Yeah, okay. I hate it when I arrive at a point in my life where I think I know what I want, but you know, it's not really what it's not really what I want, or it's something I just get burned out on, and it doesn't stick with me. And I said, I feel like I've been doing this all my life, which is, you know, starting something or passionate about something, and then, you know, I just burn out. And I said, my passion, you know, doesn't last very long for those particular things. It frustrates me because I don't know if I can trust myself going forward when it comes to my own dreams. Yeah. Is that makes me feel like a failure, or someone who is a jack of all trades but a master of none. Okay. Yeah, that could be somewhere along.
That was really well said. That was real. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but what Taryn, that sentiment she just relayed right there, I can totally relate to that one. That was perfect right there for me too.
Yeah. I just watched a video the other day, and it's from a guy who runs a YouTube channel called Smarter Every Day. And the reason I'm sharing this is because it made an impact on me, and it may relate to you, Taryn, and Christopher too. And what sounds like in that moment is it sounds like there might be a habit or something that's underneath there that keeps reoccurring. And it's like you get to a plateau level and you can't, break through it. That's when, tenacity and really knowing what your why and what your purpose is really comes to help. Because if you don't know what's driving you, then it's easy to give up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So this example, and Google this, Smarter Every Day, or email me and I can share the link with you guys, or look on my Facebook page. I put it on there too. Anyways, he does such cool work. And he has such a fun attitude about it. He had a bike, and some friends of his took gears, put gears on the handlebar. So you ride the bike like normal, pedal wise, but the gears, when you turn left, the bike goes right. And when you turn right, the bike goes left. So it's a complete it completely screws your mind when you're trying to ride it. And no one that he interviewed out of a ton of people could ride this thing right off the bat, because their brains are so ingrained with the habit of riding a bike that when they try to go do it, their brain says you're supposed to go right, and it seems so simple, like I could just lean to the left and go to the right, but our brains are doing so many things to balance ourselves that it's not impossible, but it takes a lot of effort to change the things. And it took him 8 months to change this one ingrained habit. Now, he didn't do it every day for 10 hours a day. He just took a few minutes here and there. And it took him a long time to really get to write it. And he was not, perfect at it. But he tried it with his kid, and his kid, who's like 3 or 4, was able to jump on there. And within a couple of weeks of trying it a few minutes a day, was able to get it. The point there is that our brains have our habits, not hardwired, but wired and ingrained in themselves, that when we go to try to change a big part of our lives, those habits are going to go back to the default standards until we put enough effort and time into it that we start to change those patterns within our brains. Does that make sense? You guys there?
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like someone's trying to turn a car over. All right. Okay, cool. Thanks for muting. I appreciate it. Okay. So that's kind of what, that pisses you off or makes you cry. And that example, look up Smarter Every Day, and then maybe Reverse Bicycle or Smarter Every Day and Handlebar or something like that. If you want to watch it, either Google it or feel free to email me. I'll shoot you the link back. But anyways, it's a great visual example of how our brains really get screwed with ingrained patterns. The reason I'm kind of belaboring it is because it made such an impact on and really made some things pop in my head the other day. So, okay. So question number 5, back on track here. What projects do you get lost in? I got lost in photography projects and conversations, of helping others. And the why behind that for me is that I love creating images. And at first I just loved photography, just loved, doing the visual art of it and creating something cool and using my creativity. And that's still a reason within myself. But I really did get a lot of fulfillment out of helping people make them look their best. And you can do that 100 different ways creatively with photography and just make them look really cool. And that was empowering for me and for them to know that, they look a lot better, or just it gives them self-esteem. So that was my why underneath that. Taryn, what about yourself? What kind of projects do you get lost in?
Okay. it's another similarity we have: photography,
Mhm.
but particular food photography. I like
Food.
I like to beautify food. I like to see beauty in the work that I do, and it's cooking a new dish.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like creating in front of a green screen. Like right now, I just ordered this green screen in a basement, and I like making videos and stuff like that.
That's cool.
In front of the screen and like seeing myself, experiencing something or having something that I want.
Yeah.
Trying to make it as real as possible through technology. So
cool. I'm imagining you cooking something, and like if it's an Italian dish, you have the backdrop of Italy.
Right, and that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Or maybe hot dogs on the beach or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so and what's the why underneath it?
So yeah, it's I like to see beauty in the work that I do.
Okay.
With the food, experiencing new food and creating new dishes. And I can just be free to create.
Yeah, I still see I see a little bit of explorer in that too. So okay, cool. Okay, so number 6 is another way to look at that. And I do want to touch base on what you get lost in. I forgot to make this statement. Is that this is think back on a time where you forgot about eating, you forgot about drinking, maybe you forgot about taking care of your kids or your wife, your husband. You just got totally lost into this project. That time just went away. That is another way to start, to look at this. Anyways, I just wanted to make sure I made that point there, because that, for me, when I realized I was getting lost in some photography and conversations, it made a difference. Like it was another little light bulb along the way. Like, oh, wow, that really kind of triggers me, makes me happy. Okay, so what makes you smile, or are you, really passionate about? So I've always been a lifelong learner, and I listen to a ton of podcasts. And generally most of those have been around personal development and just learning kind of what makes me tick, what makes me go, and just kind of, I've just always been one to continue my education, because I don't think I know it all. I think there's always something else to learn and someone else to learn from. So, and my why behind there was learning about myself and others makes me smile, because I can be more of myself and I don't have to put a front, on to impress people when I know who I really am. I could just be who I am, which is a goofy geek explorer nerd that likes to help people. Taryn, what about yourself? What are you passionate about?
I would say the things that make me smile, because I'm kind of not sure if I'm like extra passionate about them, but I'd say the beach, ocean, Miami, Florida, the islands, the Caribbean, good music, and
good music.
Say what?
You say good music?
Yeah, good jazz music.
Okay,
like
good jazz music.
Music. And my why for it is, I said, all these things represent beauty to me, and I like to be surrounded by it, and they boost my energy.
Okay, so surrounding yourself with beauty. I just got a little bit of like a tingle when I said that, like surrounding myself with beauty. I think that could be something pretty powerful for you. That could be a statement you're going to lead with, or it's going to be intertwined within your own personal life mission statement. Okay, cool. And is the why behind that just because you want to be surrounded by beauty, or is it something else?
Yeah, just those two.
Okay.
I want to be surrounded by beauty and like it boosts my energy.
Okay, so it boosts your energy.
Couldn't think of anything else more.
Cool beans. Okay. Okay. Let's see. And slide number 8. Okay, so what advice are you always giving to friends? So this one, I am a smart ass, and I was whenever I would be in conversations with someone at a party or a colleague or something like that, and they would come, whatever the conversation was, and if the conversation led to some sort of like they wanted to accomplish a goal or they wanted to run a marathon or wanted to lose weight, whatever it was, and they came in with this statement, oh, but I can never do it because X, Y, and Z. I can never get there because X, Y, and Z. I would almost immediately jump in and be like, well, not with that attitude, you know. And I said it kind of sarcastically, and I meant it honestly, but it probably didn't have that much of an impact with them because it was the wrong frame. But it was still true for me, and that was the type of advice I was always giving. And that was just something that it just kept coming up and again and again and again in my life, that I was doing this. And it's because I want to see others reach the goals they think they can't. There's just a lot of power in helping others along the way, because whenever we surround ourselves with the right type of people that encourage us to reach our goals and to do the thing that we're really scared of, those are it could be a text message, it could be an email, it could just be a really quick phone call. And just that little nudge sometimes can really push people, you know. Sometimes it's leaps and sometimes it's just they're just going to make another step, but it's just really powerful. Like, I've surrounded myself in this past year with some really awesome people, and it's kept me going, and I'm going to continue to do that, so because I know it works. So Taryn, what about yourself? What's the advice you're always giving other people?
Well, I pretty much skipped that question because I'm never giving advice to people. I'm always like the person who observes people. Okay.
What about that inner voice? Is there what if it is a good friend? Would you give advice? Do you ever do that with friends or anything?
I mean, to me, the advice that I would see myself giving would be like, I guess would be similar to yours, to do something that you know, that you've always wanted to do, or do the thing that you fear.
Yeah.
There you go, right there.
Okay. And in those conversations where you're just observing, is there an inner voice that wants to speak up and give them advice? And if would that be the same type of advice?
No, like I mean, because for me, I don't have too many friends, so I mean, that's why I'm not really giving advice. I have a lot of acquaintances, so I'm not like in a position. I'm not always in a position to give people advice.
Gotcha.
But if I were to like give somebody some advice, it would be to, you know, do something that you fear, because that's something that in my life that I'm trying to lessen the fear that, you know, I seem to operate from, or has been passed down from the mentality or thinking of my parents or people in my family, you know, and I'm trying to work through that and change. And so that's the advice that I would give somebody else.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of things get passed down from moms and dads and uncles and aunts and family who they are very well meaning and they are trying to do their absolute best, but they grew up in a different time frame, a different lifestyle, and they're just giving you their perspective. And sometimes it's great and it's wonderful, and sometimes it comes from a mentality of let's just say, for example, if I was talking, you know, to maybe my grandma or grandpa, you know, and they were giving me advice on money items, money items, on money. They may come from a place of scarcity, because if they went through the Great Depression, they're probably going to say you should save all your money and do X, Y, and Z. And that may or may not be the place where you're at in your life, and you need to do that. Not that that's bad advice at all. But I think the point is that sometimes other generations give advice from their best knowing and best caring place, but it's always not translatable to who we really are and who we really want to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So you had the kind of like helping others reach their goals. Okay. Awesome. So that's the 7 questions. That's the big piece of the pie. And the next piece is your values. So this is something that we'd have to take some time on, but I just want to kind of run through this. And I can email you guys the document if you want this. Basically, you would go through this document and you would rate each one of these values on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being, or 5 being the most important, and 1 being, the least important, and like you don't care about it at all. So I went through this very similar style of document, and I came up with all of my values. And my values are, living sustainably. I'm just going to look at I've got it back on my wall. So living a sustainable, creative life that helps people, allows me to travel, have a sense of continuing education, empowerment, and community. So those were the things that are really important to me, and really how I want to see my life built. Now, what happens next is we start finding the threads between the two, your values and the whys on all of your questions and what you love to do. And from there, we actually create a statement of who you are. And let me give you the example of mine. So, kind of tying it all together, the threads for myself. Helping others, making others laugh, seeing others reach their full potential, travel and adventure, exploring. Let's go back one. Travel, adventure, exploring. What kind of ticks me off is when people don't try. More potential, helping people, look their best, personal development, give advice, to help others. So you can kind of start getting a little bit of a picture of all of those whys, at least from within myself. And when you go through this exercise, yourself, just write down the ones, that keep coming up all the time. And if you don't write them down all the time, if they're not getting repeated, you can, if it feels like it's a really strong statement and you really feel drawn to it, make sure to mark that as well. So, like I was just explaining, my values: sustainability, family, travel and adventure, continuing education, helping others, and empowering them to be the best versions. So what we do at this point, there's no right or wrong formula for creating your own statement. You just have to put them together and start creating a statement where this will be your kind of your life purpose, lifestyle statement. And once you create it, usually you're just going to create the first draft, and then you're going to revise it and hone it as you go through the first couple tries. And then you can always shift it and change it, as you grow. But for the first, few years, as you look at it, you can take this statement and you can put everything else that you want to make a decision around in your life and say, does it fit within this statement? Yes or no? If it fits, it's probably worth exploring. If it doesn't and it's a clear no, it's probably not. So let me share mine and give you an example. So I own a sustainable, creative business that allows me to travel, be close to my family, and helps people reach their goals. And through this, I have a sense of community, continuing education, and empowerment. Now, you don't see anywhere in here about music or me dancing around. So you're probably not going to see me, doing anything in the music business. I enjoy music. I can sit down just like yourself, Taryn, and sit down with a glass of wine or a scotch and just really love to listen to live jazz. But I'm not going to go try to play it. It doesn't light me up. It just doesn't. So there's no, if an opportunity came my way to do a bunch of music stuff, I would probably be like, no, that's just not where I'm going to be drawn. But if something came up and said, hey, we're going to go to the Amazon rainforest and help people save water, and I get to do it for a business trip, that would be awesome. And in fact, that's exactly what I'm doing in about a month. I'm going to the Amazon to help. We're going to the Amazon we're staying in a lodge right in the middle of the Amazon, and then we're going to go install a clean water system for a tribe down there. And then we're going to go speak at a university about, there's about 20 other coaches like myself that are going, and we're going to speak about our particular topics. And then they're going to create a documentary about the whole trip and make a web TV series. And so when this opportunity came up, I went back, to my statement in my head, and I said, this fits. It might be a little scary and a little expensive to do, but it seems right. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's see if we can get, Taryn, let's see if we can come up with something, for you and see if it fits. So I'm just going to run back through yours. You love playing with things with the kid, riding your bike, and mimicking. You said that a few times, mimicking, things. And part of the why on there was escaping and freedom. What do you want to be remembered for? As a thinking woman, with no fear of holding back. And the reason behind that is you believe so many people hold back in their lives. The next question was, hold on, I'm having some brain gas here. I forgot question number 3, the $5 million question. So you would explore and travel a lot more. And I had one other statement down here, but I can't. Exploring and freedom within that. Okay. So the next one for you, Taryn, if I could get my mouse to click here. Sorry, guys. Was not knowing what you want. It kind of ticks you off. And then the next one for you was, what projects do you get lost in? And that's right now. It's you taking pictures of food in exotic locations. I could see you doing that while you're traveling. Instead of a green screen, what if it was the real thing? How cool would that be? So you're passionate. You said the beach, Miami, good jazz, music, and surrounding yourself with beauty, and that boosts your energy. And then the last one was helping people reach their goals. So, there's a big exploration piece in here for you. And I'm just going to kind of spitball this, and don't take this as the gospel for yourself. Just use it as a reference, or completely tell me to screw off and come up with your own. Because the process is as unique as you are. So if I was Taryn and writing this out, my life is full of exploration, surrounding myself with beauty. While helping others. While helping others better themselves. Through powerful thinking. Let's see. How about through powerful thinking and playing. How's this sound, Taryn? My life is full of exploring, surrounding myself with beauty while helping others better themselves through powerful thinking and playing.
I'll take that. Like I can take that. I can, analyze that and add on to it.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you after just a brief discussion here. So take that, play with it, and then add in your values in there. If your values, let me just go back to this real quick. If your values are, let's see, I'm just going to pick a few out of here. If your values are living a sustainable life, you could put that in there. If your values are living a challenging life, like you're always going after a big hairy goal or something like that, fit that in there. You can definitely fit in the financial freedom somehow. Whoop. Oh, there they go. There we go. So the basics of it, you're just putting these values within that statement and making it all kind of work together, like what you want, what you see your life really evolving as. And then you can take that next opportunity and say, okay, it might not be the perfect job, but I get to explore with this job. I might get to take some cool pictures, and at the same time, they're letting me do some really cool reflection, whatever it is.
Just a minute, I gotta answer the phone or the door. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Christopher, you still on?
Yeah.
So, while she's answering the door, was there anything that resonated, within the call?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as I was listening to her give her answers, I mean, I have a few similarities with, both you and her, and then my own personal ones. Like, for example, I am a musician. I play a couple different instruments, so that's one of my biggest passions. So yeah, I mean, I can definitely see. I want to sit down with the questions more, really put some more thought into them. Obviously, but
yeah,
definitely little light bulbs going off, so to speak.
Yeah, they start to it's like the light bulb starts to glow. This process is just really like flipping the switch, and it's not like this.
Yeah.
Some people, it might be this huge light bulb moment and it almost explodes on them, but I think for most people, it's probably flipping the switch and that light bulb is starting to grow or glow. Well, grow is the same basic thing, but starting to glow and really starting to wow, this is what really kind of lights me up. I should probably be doing more of this. The trick is the next step from this is, do you do something on your own, or do you do something? It really doesn't matter. You can find a job doing what you love. Sometimes it's so unique that it might mean you have to do something on your own. But when you do it on your own and you get to be yourself doing it, that's when really cool stuff happens. And like that YouTube video I was talking about, this guy's just a nerd. He loves science and he loves high-speed photography. So he married the two and he involves his family, and his kids are in these videos. And you can just tell he's really passionate about this and just loves giving back to, his viewers. And since his start of this, he probably just started like with 1 or 2 videos and like, hey, I'm just going to explain how, you know, gravity works, and maybe we'll take a picture or some high speed photography of a ball dropping or something. And people loved it, and he just kept building it. And now he's flying all over the world, and Ford's calling him to make high speed videos, and he's documenting the process along the way. There we go. This light's bothering me. But it's just like, it didn't start out with this big end thing in mind. It just started out with him going for what really lit him up, and letting that light
I think that might be
grow.
kind of a common problem amongst people too, is they are kind of looking for that way, like one like breakthrough epiphany or something that's just going to grant them this miraculous solution to all their problems, and it doesn't seem to be really the case, you know.
No, it's
at least not in my situation.
No, the media spins things that it makes it look like people get rich quick, or, you know, look at that guy, he just got on American Idol, and now he's rich and he's traveling the country. Like, it just took him a couple days. I was watching last night a coach that I really admire, Rich Litvin, and he's like, yeah, I was overnight success, or he said, I'm an overnight success after 46 years, you know, like now, you know, all of his work to today has led him to this moment to really start to shine. And, you know, now his clients pay him. He's a coach like myself, but his clients pay him $50,000, $100,000, $75,000 to work with him for a year. Now he's working with some pretty powerful people, but he makes a big impact, you know, in their lives, and it's totally worth it for them because he helps them reach their dreams. So yeah, anything else within that?
No, you know, the interesting thing, on the subject of life coaching, is I've had a little experience with that. I was working with a company that started by a friend of mine, and it was the idea was great. The name of the company was Mind Body Solutions, and it was just about.
Oh, cool.
I'm a certified personal trainer, so we wanted to combine, you know, physical fitness with, you know, stress reduction techniques and things like that.
That's cool.
And you know, I'm not trying to talk, you know, down about anybody, but one of my partners at the time, she took you know, an online certification, became a holistic life coach.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, let me just say that she didn't necessarily embody some of the values and stuff that we try to teach to the clients, you know. And then I mean, I found it interesting, and I still try, and, you know, now the personal training I do is for a commercial gym, and it's more so just like, you know, just the straight fitness part of it. But I always, when people ask me about things, I ask them about, well, you know, what kind of stress levels do you deal with?
Yeah.
You know, how are your sleeping patterns, that kind of stuff? Because it's I'd say, if not just as important, more so than the actual, you know, physical fitness and stuff like that. So, I mean, the whole personal development and life coaching thing within the last 5-6 years of my life has like become very interesting to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of everybody's a little different, but we all have a lot of the same issues going on. And the biggest thing a life coach can do is just really be there for a person and listen to them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we say our own answers, but we can't hear them because it's coming out of our own mouth for some reason. And when you have someone just repeating back what you say, it just works. I mean, I was just on someone was coaching me the other day, and the quick example is I started off saying I wanted a better relationship with my brothers. But it ended up being, I just want to make sure my mother's taken care of, you know? And I do want a better relationship with my brothers, but at the end of the day, I want to make sure she's taken care of. And I just wasn't hearing that within the conversation. And he just kept asking questions and you know, gently kind of going further and further and further. And it was like, yeah, I just want to make sure she's taken care of, because this job as a life coach is going to allow me the freedom, you know, allows me the freedom to travel and do my thing. And I can't always be there for family when I would like to be, but, you know, I can't be my true self if I'm not doing what I really love, you know?
Sure. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Taryn, Are you back on the line?
Yeah, I just didn't want to interrupt you, but
No, you're fine.
You know, I'm back.
Okay. Was there anything else within that statement that you have any questions about, or you wanted to add, or?
No, I just I'll keep it in mind and I'll just analyze it.
Okay. Cool. Did you write it down? That's a big step.
No, I didn't.
I'm going to encourage you to.
I gotta.
Go ahead.
Yeah, if you repeat it to me, I could write it down.
Yeah. Okay. So my life is full of exploring, surrounding myself with beauty while helping others better themselves through powerful thinking and playing. Whoops. And that's probably a really long run-on sentence, but you didn't see anywhere in my life purpose statement that I'm the best at grammar.
Can you give it to me one more time?
Yeah. So, and I can email this to you if you like too.
Okay.
My life is full of exploring, surrounding myself with beauty while helping others better themselves through powerful thinking and playing.
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
All right. Is there anybody else on that has any questions? Nope. Okay, cool. So if you guys are online, and this is just really the groundwork within within coaching, one of the first steps is we find out what really drives you, and then the next step is to find out where you're at, and then start figuring out where you actually want to go. And that process from there is working through and helping you reach that goal that you really want. So if this intrigues you, go to my website right now and schedule an appointment, and we can sit down face to face like this, or face to face like this virtually, either over Skype or over phone. And I can help you guys walk through that next step, whatever that happens to be. So if it intrigues you, I do have a complimentary session that, I don't try to push sales, and we just make sure it's a right fit, because if it is a right fit, we would work together for a year working on you reaching your goals. So, I encourage you to check it out, and it's theartofchangingyourlife.com/next step. If there's any questions, feel free to reach out to me anytime, guys. I'm here to help, and I'm honest about that. Like, whenever people send me an email, I love answering them. I may not get to them, right quick, but I will get back to them at some point. So if there's any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, you guys have a great day.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Thank you.